Chosen one, something shocking arrives before Christmas ends. Something unexpected is approaching, and its impact is not measured by how loudly it arrives, but by how deeply it shifts perception. Before Christmas ends, a moment appears that disrupts routine and challenges assumption. For the chosen one, this kind of disruption is not chaos. It is contrast. It highlights what has been forming quietly beneath the surface while attention was elsewhere. What is arriving now does not ask for preparation. It arrives because preparation has already taken place. Stay with this message until the very end, because timing matters here. Watch fully. Allow each layer to settle, and write your warmest wishes in the comments, and add 144 as a symbol of alignment and shared intention. This moment is not about spectacle. It is about awareness. Now, chosen one, press the hype button like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's start. Shock, in this context, does not mean fear or loss of control. It means interruption of expectation. You may have been moving through the season with a certain internal narrative about how things would conclude. This arrival does not follow that narrative. It shifts it. For the chosen one, such shifts are not accidents. They reveal where rigidity existed and where openness is now required. What makes this moment striking is not only what happens, but how you respond to it. You may notice that your reaction is calmer than you would have expected in the past. This calm is not indifference. It is capacity. It signals that your internal stability has increased. You are no longer easily destabilized by sudden change. Instead, you assess, adjust, and remain present. This arrival may come in a form that forces re-evaluation, a conversation, an opportunity, information, or a development that reframes recent effort. It may clarify something that felt uncertain or expose a truth that was previously hidden. The chosen one understands that clarity often arrives suddenly, not gradually. You may also sense that this moment carries weight beyond itself. It connects to decisions you made earlier, even ones that felt insignificant at the time. What seemed like patience or restraint before now reveals itself as alignment. Alignment creates conditions where unexpected outcomes can land without causing disruption. There is also an invitation here to observe without rushing to interpret. Immediate meaning is not required. Meaning will form as integration occurs. The chosen one recognizes that not every moment demands instant understanding. Some moments ask only for presence. This phase highlights how much your relationship with uncertainty has matured. Instead of needing immediate resolution, you allow space. This space allows insight to surface naturally. What arrives before Christmas ends does not require you to act immediately. It requires you to notice. You may notice a subtle shift in energy after this moment. Not excitement, but reorientation. Something clicks into place. A tension releases. A direction becomes clearer. These are signs that the shock was corrective rather than disruptive. This first part is about recognition. Recognition that not all surprises are threats. Some are confirmations arriving in unexpected form. From here, the message will continue to unfold, guiding you deeper into understanding how sudden change can serve alignment, how timing reveals readiness, and why what arrives now does so precisely when you are able to receive it without losing your center. As this moment settles further, the chosen one may begin to realize that what felt shocking was not the arrival itself, but the speed at which understanding followed. In the past, unexpected developments may have created confusion or emotional turbulence. Now, clarity arrives almost immediately. This is not coincidence. It reflects how much internal alignment has already been established. When alignment is present, even sudden change feels intelligible. In this phase, you may notice that your attention becomes sharper rather than scattered. Instead of reacting broadly, you focus on what matters within the situation. This selective attention prevents overwhelm. It allows you to extract meaning without distortion. The chosen one understands that focus is a stabilizing force when circumstances shift quickly. You may also recognize that this arrival reframes recent experiences. Events that felt disconnected now reveal a pattern. Decisions that seemed small now show consequence. This reframing is subtle but powerful. It transforms hindsight into insight. Insight strengthens trust in your own judgment. There is often a quiet confirmation present during this stage. Not an emotional high, but a steady sense that something has aligned. This confirmation does not require validation. It settles internally. When confirmation arrives this way, it supports confidence without ego. The chosen one values this kind of certainty because it does not fluctuate. Emotionally, you may find that your responses remain measured. You are not pulled into urgency or speculation. You allow information to integrate before drawing conclusions. This restraint preserves clarity and prevents misinterpretation. When emotion is regulated, perception remains accurate. You may also notice that your relationship with timing feels affirmed. What arrives now could not have arrived earlier without creating disruption. It arrives because capacity is present. This understanding removes regret about delays. Delays are reinterpreted as preparation rather than obstruction. This phase also highlights how your trust in process has matured. You are no longer questioning whether things are unfolding correctly. You recognize sequence. You recognize adjustment. This trust reduces mental resistance and supports engagement with what is unfolding rather than what might have been. There may be a sense that this arrival alters the tone of the season. What felt routine now feels charged with meaning, not because of excitement, but because direction has shifted. The chosen one recognizes that direction changes often arrive quietly, even when circumstances appear sudden. As this second part unfolds, allow yourself to remain observant rather than reactive. What has arrived will continue to reveal its relevance over time. Immediate action is not required. Understanding will deepen naturally. This phase emphasizes integration, clarity, and trust in sequence. From here, the message will continue to unfold, guiding you further into recognizing how sudden developments serve alignment, how readiness transforms shock into insight, and why what arrives before Christmas ends is less about surprise and more about confirmation. As this understanding deepens, the chosen one may begin to notice that the shock itself was a signal of transition rather than an endpoint. What arrived did not close a chapter. It opened a perspective. You are not being pushed into immediate action. You are being repositioned internally. This repositioning changes how you interpret what comes next. In this phase, your sense of stability becomes more apparent. You realize that sudden developments no longer shake your foundation. They reveal it. The ground beneath you holds. This realization strengthens trust in your own capacity to navigate change without losing orientation. The chosen one understands that stability is not the absence of surprise, but the ability to remain centered within it. You may observe that your decision-making process has simplified. You are not weighing endless possibilities or replaying scenarios. You recognize what is relevant and what is not. This clarity prevents distraction and keeps momentum intact. When clarity is present, Unnecessary options fall away on their own. There is also a subtle shift in how you relate to anticipation. You are no longer projecting far ahead to manage outcomes. You remain present with what has been revealed. This presence allows insight to develop without pressure. The chosen one recognizes that anticipation can blur perception, while presence sharpens it. Emotionally, this stage supports steadiness. You are not rushing to label the moment as positive or negative. You allow it to exist as information. This neutrality protects judgment. When judgment is protected, decisions remain proportional and effective. You may also notice that your internal dialogue feels quieter. Fewer questions, less urgency to define meaning immediately. This quiet allows understanding to integrate fully. Integration is what turns shock into alignment. The chosen one values integration because it prevents reaction from becoming habit. This phase can also bring awareness of how prepared you have become for complexity. You are able to hold multiple truths without conflict. Surprise and stability coexist. Change and continuity coexist. This capacity reflects maturity. Maturity allows you to move forward without fragmentation. You may sense that your confidence is now rooted in experience rather than expectation. You trust how you respond more than what might happen next. This trust keeps attention grounded and prevents anxiety from taking hold. When trust is internal, external shifts lose power over your state. As this third part unfolds, allow yourself to remain attentive rather than decisive. What has arrived will continue to clarify its role. There is no need to finalize conclusions prematurely. Understanding unfolds in layers. This phase emphasizes perspective, stability, and internal repositioning. From here, the message will continue to unfold, guiding you deeper into how unexpected moments refine awareness, how shock becomes information rather than disruption, and why what arrives before Christmas ends serves as a quiet turning point rather than a dramatic interruption. As this phase continues, the chosen one may begin to notice that the arrival has subtly altered how you relate to choice. You are not compelled to respond immediately, nor are you tempted to ignore what has been revealed. Instead, you recognize that discernment now comes from alignment rather than deliberation. You sense what deserves attention and what can wait. This intuitive sorting keeps your energy focused and prevents unnecessary movement. In this stage, your awareness of consequence sharpens. You understand here that not every revelation demands action, but every revelation informs orientation. Orientation shapes trajectory. The chosen one recognizes that direction often shifts before behavior does. This understanding allows you to remain still without feeling stalled. Stillness becomes a form of accuracy. You may also observe that your tolerance for noise has decreased. Speculation, opinions, and external urgency lose relevance. You are less interested in discussing what happened and more attentive to how it settles internally. This inward attention supports coherence. When coherence is protected, progress remains intact even when circumstances change quickly. Emotionally, this phase brings composure that does not require effort. You are not managing reaction. Reaction simply does not dominate. This composure allows you to remain open without becoming reactive. The chosen one understands that openness without reactivity is a sign of maturity. You may notice that your sense of timing feels increasingly precise. You are aware that acting too early could dilute clarity, while acting too late could miss alignment. This sensitivity to timing keeps your responses measured. Measured responses preserve stability and reduce the need for correction. There is also a refinement in how you interpret significance. You are not assigning meaning based on intensity or surprise. You are observing impact over time. This perspective prevents exaggeration and minimizes regret. The chosen one values sustained impact over immediate impression. This stage can also bring a deeper respect for sequence. You recognize that what has arrived fits into a larger unfolding rather than standing alone. Past patience now reveals purpose. Purpose reveals why this moment could not have arrived sooner. This realization transforms waiting into preparation. You may feel a growing sense of confidence in your ability to navigate uncertainty without seeking reassurance. You trust your capacity to respond appropriately as understanding deepens. This trust allows you to remain present rather than projecting yourself into outcomes. As this fourth part unfolds, allow understanding to continue forming without pressure. What has arrived will continue to reveal its relevance naturally. There is no need to force interpretation. This phase emphasizes discernment, timing, and coherence. From here, the message will continue to unfold, guiding you deeper into how sudden developments refine orientation, how stillness supports accuracy, and why what arrives before Christmas ends is not asking for reaction, but for quiet, sustained awareness. As this unfolding continues, the chosen one may begin to notice that the shock has softened into clarity. What once felt abrupt now feels purposeful. This shift is important. It signals that understanding has taken root. When understanding settles, urgency dissolves. You are no longer responding to the moment itself, but to what it has revealed. This distinction keeps you grounded. In this phase, your relationship with control changes further. You are not attempting to steer outcomes aggressively, nor are you relinquishing responsibility. You are allowing alignment to guide movement. This balance between engagement and restraint prevents overcorrection. The chosen one understands that control applied at the wrong moment can disrupt what alignment is already organizing. You may also notice that your sense of trust deepens. Not blind trust, but informed trust. Trust based on how consistently things have aligned when you remained patient. This trust allows you to stay open without becoming vulnerable to impulse. Openness paired with discernment preserves clarity. Emotionally, this stage often feels neutral and steady. You are not amplifying the significance of the moment, nor are you minimizing it. You recognize its place without dramatization. This emotional neutrality allows insight to continue unfolding without distortion. When emotion is regulated, perception remains accurate. You may find that your focus naturally shifts toward what is practical. Rather than speculating about implications, you attend to what is present and actionable. This practicality prevents distraction and keeps progress tangible. The chosen one values practicality because it anchors understanding in reality. This phase can also bring awareness of how much resilience you have developed. You are able to hold surprise without losing structure. Structure remains intact even when expectation is interrupted. This resilience reflects growth that has been forming quietly over time. You may also sense that your internal dialogue remains calm and supportive. Questions arise without anxiety. Answers form without pressure. This mental environment allows integration to complete itself. Integration turns information into orientation. As this fifth part settles, there is a growing sense that nothing needs to be resolved immediately. What has arrived will continue to inform direction without demanding action. This patience protects alignment and preserves energy. This phase emphasizes trust, emotional regulation, and practical focus. From here, the message will continue to unfold, guiding you further into how clarity replaces shock, how alignment organizes movement without force, and why what arrives before Christmas ends is preparing you for continuity rather than reaction. As this final phase completes its integration, the chosen one may begin to sense that the arrival has fully settled into understanding. What once interrupted expectation now supports direction. There is no lingering need to analyze or revisit the moment. It has done its work. This completion brings calm rather than conclusion. You are not closing something. You are continuing from a clearer position. In this stage, your awareness feels steady and unfragmented. You are not divided between past surprise and future anticipation. Attention rests in the present, where adjustment and engagement occur naturally. This presence ensures that what unfolds next is met with clarity rather than reaction. The chosen one understands that presence is what allows alignment to remain active over time. You may notice that your confidence now expresses itself through ease. You are not asserting certainty or guarding against doubt. You simply trust your capacity to respond as situations arise. This trust removes the need for constant preparedness. Readiness has become embodied. When readiness is embodied, action and restraint both feel appropriate. Emotionally, there is balance without effort. You are not elevating the moment into something larger than it is, nor are you dismissing its importance. You recognize its role within a broader pattern. This balanced perspective prevents emotional extremes and preserves judgment. The chosen one values balance because it keeps movement coherent. You may also observe that your sense of timing remains intact. You are not compelled to act because something happened, nor are you waiting passively. You respond when clarity indicates movement. This responsiveness ensures that progress continues without force. Force disrupts alignment. Responsiveness sustains it. This phase often brings a quiet sense of resolution, not because everything is known, but because what needed to integrate has integrated. There is no internal friction left around the moment. When friction dissolves, energy becomes available for what is next. Energy conserved supports continuity. You may find that your orientation toward the season has shifted. What remains of the time before Christmas ends now feels intentional rather than routine. Each day carries awareness without pressure. This awareness allows you to move forward without urgency. Urgency is unnecessary when direction is clear. As this sequence completes, there is nothing to announce and nothing to anticipate intensely. What arrived has found its place. What shifted has stabilized. You are no longer responding to shock. You are operating from understanding. There is nothing here to accelerate and nothing to restrain. Movement continues at a pace that matches capacity. What unfolds next will do so in response to clarity rather than urgency. And from this place of steady integration, the chosen one continues forward, grounded and attentive, aware that what arrived before Christmas ends was not meant to disrupt the season, but to refine awareness, confirm readiness, and quietly prepare the ground for what follows without noise, pressure, or uncertainty. As this final reflection unfolds, the chosen one may begin to recognize that the most significant shift was internal, not external. What arrived before Christmas ends did not demand reaction or announcement. It required recognition. Recognition that you are no longer shaped by sudden change, but informed by it. This distinction marks maturity. You are not moved off course by surprise. You absorb it and continue with greater clarity. In this stage, your sense of authorship becomes unmistakable. You are not waiting for permission to interpret your experience. You trust your understanding without seeking confirmation. This trust allows you to move forward without hesitation or self-doubt. The chosen one understands that self-authorship creates stability that external validation cannot provide. You may notice that your engagement with others remains natural and unchanged. You are not signaling importance or withholding presence. You remain consistent. This consistency reinforces alignment. When behavior does not fluctuate with circumstance, it communicates grounded confidence more clearly than explanation ever could. Emotionally, there is a quiet neutrality. You are not revisiting the moment to extract meaning or reassurance. Meaning has already integrated. This neutrality frees attention for what is ahead rather than what has passed. Progress continues without interruption when attention is forward-facing. You may also sense a refined awareness of continuity. You recognize that what arrived is not separate from what will follow. It is part of an unfolding sequence. This understanding removes the need to label the moment as extraordinary or final. It simply belongs. Belonging allows integration to remain complete. There is a noticeable ease in how you relate to uncertainty now. You do not rush to resolve what is still forming. You allow clarity to arrive at its own pace. This patience reflects confidence in your capacity to respond accurately when the time comes. The chosen one knows that premature resolution can distort understanding. You may find that your internal dialogue remains calm and supportive. Questions arise without urgency. Answers form without pressure. This mental environment allows you to remain present and engaged without tension. When the mind is settled, action becomes precise. As this final part settles, there is nothing left to interpret or manage. What needed to shift has shifted. What needed to clarify has clarified. You are not standing at the edge of something unknown. You are standing within alignment that has already been established. There is nothing here to rush and nothing to hold back. Movement continues at a pace that matches capacity. What unfolds next will do so naturally, guided by clarity rather than expectation. And from this place of quiet completion, the chosen one continues forward, grounded, attentive, and steady. Aware that what arrived before Christmas ends was not meant to surprise you into action, but to confirm readiness, refine perception, and support a continuation that unfolds with calm assurance rather than urgency or display. As this final layer settles fully, the chosen one may begin to sense that the moment has completely released its tension. What once felt startling now feels absorbed, no longer requiring reflection or explanation. This is not forgetting. It is integration. What integrates does not linger. It supports movement quietly, without demanding attention or reaction. In this stage, your awareness rests naturally in the present. You are not replaying what happened or projecting what it might lead to. Attention remains steady, grounded in what is unfolding now. This steadiness allows clarity to remain intact without effort. The chosen one understands that when awareness stabilizes, direction no longer needs constant adjustment. You may notice that your sense of confidence is calm and unobtrusive. There is no urge to define the moment or frame it as significant. Significance reveals itself through continuity, not emphasis. What matters now is not how surprising the arrival was, but how smoothly life continues afterward. Smooth continuation is confirmation. Emotionally, there is ease. You are not guarding against change or bracing for consequence. You trust that whatever follows will be met with the same clarity that met this moment. This trust is not optimism. It is familiarity with your own capacity. The chosen one recognizes that confidence rooted in experience does not fluctuate. You may also sense a deeper respect for rhythm. You allow days to move forward without attaching meaning to each shift. This rhythm keeps energy balanced and prevents unnecessary strain. When rhythm is respected, alignment sustains itself. There is a quiet closing here, not of possibility, but of uncertainty. What needed to reveal itself has done so. What needed to realign has realigned. You are no longer adjusting to surprise. You are moving within understanding. This stage does not ask for reflection or celebration. It asks only for presence. Presence ensures that what follows is met accurately, without distortion or haste. The chosen one understands that presence is the final form of readiness. There is nothing left to interpret and nothing left to anticipate intensely. Movement continues at a pace that matches capacity. What unfolds next will do so gently, guided by clarity rather than urgency. And from this place of complete integration, the chosen one continues forward, quietly grounded, internally steady, and fully aligned. Aware that what arrived before Christmas ends has already fulfilled its purpose, leaving behind not shock, but clarity, stability, and a calm readiness for what comes next. As this final understanding settles even more deeply, the chosen one may begin to notice that the season itself feels different. Not because circumstances have changed dramatically, but because perception has refined. You are no longer moving through days with anticipation or reflection pulling at your attention. You are simply present. Presence gives each moment weight without burden. This is a quiet shift, but it is lasting. In this stage, you may recognize that your relationship with endings has softened. The end of Christmas no longer feels like a closing that must be marked or processed. It feels like a transition that is already complete internally. What needed to arrive has arrived. What needed to clarify has clarified. You are not carrying unfinished emotion into what comes next. This allows continuity to remain clean. You may also sense that your internal pace has stabilized. You are not accelerating because something happened, and you are not slowing down to protect yourself from it. You move at a rhythm that feels natural and sustainable. This rhythm protects energy and supports focus. The chosen one understands that when pace aligns with capacity, progress becomes effortless. Emotionally, there is composure without effort. You are not holding yourself steady. Steadiness has become your baseline. This baseline allows you to meet change, routine, and uncertainty with the same clarity. When emotional balance is consistent, external shifts lose the power to disrupt. You may notice that your attention now gravitates toward what is constructive rather than interpretive. You are less interested in what the moment meant and more engaged with what is unfolding next. This forward-facing attention prevents stagnation and keeps movement fluid. The chosen one values this orientation because it keeps life responsive rather than reflective. There is also a quiet confidence in knowing that nothing needs to be revisited. You do not need to explain the moment to yourself or anyone else. Understanding has already settled. What has settled does not need reinforcement. This allows you to move forward without dragging awareness backward. This stage often brings a sense of lightness, not excitement, not relief, but the absence of internal friction. When friction dissolves, energy becomes available naturally. This energy supports participation in what comes next without strain. The chosen one recognizes that lightness is a sign of integration. You may also feel a renewed respect for subtlety. You understand that the most meaningful shifts often arrive without announcement and complete themselves quietly. This understanding refines how you interpret future moments. You become less reactive to intensity and more attentive to consistency. As this final part completes, there is no dramatic conclusion. There is continuation. Life moves forward smoothly. Attention remains clear. Response remains measured. There is nothing here to rush and nothing to delay. What unfolds next will do so naturally, guided by awareness rather than expectation.